All right, we are live. Special edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast. Sunday, December 24th, 2023, Christmas Eve edition of the podcast, guys. Your host is always Adam Martin. No Big Marcel today. He's I think he's like the Santa Claus over there in Holland, so he's busy today. But yeah, he won't be here. But we do want to wish our good friend and co-host here, Mr. Big Marcel, Merry Christmas, man. Hope you're doing well. Just put on a white beard, Marcel. You could masquerade as Santa Claus. But I still want to do a show today, guys, just because there has been quite a few fight announcements over the past week, and especially in regards to the UFC 300. So I figured it'd be good to do a show, just go over some fight announcements. My other plan is to do next Sunday. I'm thinking about doing like a year-end awards recap for the year. So that's the plan. Just one show. I mean, it is the holidays, right? But I still want to get some content out there for you guys. Let's get to the comments here. We'll start the show in a second. We got Sign Collectibles, Merry Christmas. You too, brother. Ray Charles, Merry Christmas to you as well, my friend. Marcel won't be here today, guys. He's like I said, he's pretending to be Santa Claus in Holland. So I said let's get into it, though. We're going to use his page. I'm going to go over some fight announcements. Like I said, the special edition of the show. Just have some fun today. And any questions, I'll answer any questions you guys have. We'll just have some fun today. I'm thinking about half an hour. But of course, if there's extra questions, I'll stay a little longer. No big deal. As long as I'm out of here by 1, so I can start watching the football games, it's all good. So let's start sharing the screen here, and we'll get into the content for today. So let's start with Marcel's page and go through the fights that have been announced last week. Because, to be fair, Dana made some really good announcements this week. So let's get into them. Although I don't think the first one is. Anyways, as Marcel says, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everyone. There's his little message there. Let's get into some fights. This one's not UFC 300. This is UFC Mexico City. Sam Hughes against Yasmin Jauregui. Yeah, I mean, this is a setup fight for Yasmin to get back on track, obviously. Sam Hughes is definitely a tough fighter. I mean, she's proven that she's got good cardio, good durability, and everything, but Yasmin should win this fight. I know she was knocked out in like 20 seconds by Denise Gomes at UFC 290. I was there for that fight. That was fucking crazy. I did not expect that. She was like a minus 400 favorite and got knocked out brutally. So that was not good at all. But yeah, that was, I think, kind of fluky. I think she's still a good prospect. Like, you guys know the UFC wants to build up these Mexican prospects. I think she's one of them. This is the fight she should win. Let's get some more comments here, by the way. Hoping you guys could do another prediction show like we did the last few years. DK is double champ, future odds. Yeah, I think so too. So I think my plan, Sign Collectibles, is to do one show next weekend, next Sunday probably as well, to do the awards recap. And then the first week of January, I think we'll do the prediction show. I think that makes a lot of sense because there is, there's another week off, right? Let me check January's calendar 1 second. But I know that obviously, there's no event for a couple weeks. Yeah, so it would be, I guess we could do it. We could try to do it next week too. I'll let you guys know, but today I won't do that. But yeah, I mean that's possible for next week or the week after. Actually, it's possible as well. As far as a prediction show, I think that's a good idea. Something I definitely have written down. So definitely an idea. A thought for you, Adam. Pereira post 3,300 UFC 300 will be 30 months since Permay's debut. That's pretty crazy. I really hope this fight happens between him and Aspinall, by the way. That would be fucking awesome. I think it'd be great. Hey, Pato. No, I'm not doing a podcast on Christmas. I got my daughter tomorrow. I don't have her full time, as you guys know, so I have to make the most of the time with her. And the days I have her, I try not to work as much, the least amount possible as I can. So no podcast tomorrow. Plus, I don't think people are going to be, actually, that's not true. People will still watch, I think, even on Christmas. You guys are MMA fanatics like me, but I just think it's better to wait till next week. And to do it today. Like I said, it's want to get out of the way. Well, I can stay, half an hour, 40 minutes today, whatever. Just want to get out of here before the football game starts at 1. Do you think Holloway versus Gaethje comes to fruition? I hope so. I think it makes sense. It just makes a lot of sense as the BMF title fight, especially because they didn't do Sterling and Holloway. I know obviously Sterling was calling for that fight. We have another fight now. We'll talk about that fight in a second with Calvin Kattar. The DXJC56, I thought he meant to put 30 pounds to try to get ready for Aspinall. Yeah, maybe it's got double connotation. Who knows? Anyways, let's get back to the fight announcements. I'll take the questions, guys, as we go through here. Here's another fight. This one is like a short notice fight that just got announced. Josh Ban versus Felipe Bunes. And yeah, I mean, I think Van wins this fight. And to be honest, I think this is a harder fight for Bunes, right? Like I was actually thinking he could beat the Bondar guy. I don't think that guy's very good. So now he's going against this, I think, one of the best prospects at 125. Like, I think Josh Fan is really fucking good. He's looked great in the UFC. That win over Kevin Boreas was really good and impressive. And the win over Jalgis as a short notice newcomer was impressive too. So I think this guy's really fucking legit, and I like him to win. I personally like him to win. So I would peg him as a big favorite in this fight. He should be like minus 300, maybe minus 400. I really think he like dominates this fight. This guy's really good. Yeah, no, I like Josh Fan a lot. Hey, what's up, Bircha? Is Gaethje Holloway thing? No, it's not a thing, but it makes sense, especially for the BMF title. It just makes sense. Like, Gaethje's in this weird spot right now where he wants to wait around for Islam, but Dana's already said that Charles is going to be next for Islam. So Gaethje, what is he going to wait another, like, potentially a year to fight again? I don't think it's a good idea. He might. I mean, it's possible, right? Like, the thing is, if he loses again, then he probably won't get that title shot. Right now, Gaethje kind of does have that title shot. So I kind of get what he's doing, but at the same time, he hasn't fought since, July now? Since he knocked out Poirier. So 6 months ago he fought. He's going to wait another 6 months, 8 months, 10 months. Look at Michael Chandler. Look how long he's been waiting to fight Conor. That fight might not happen either, by the way. So that's the problem with waiting in this sport. You just never know what's going to happen. Someone gets hurt, someone gets sick, someone gets suspended. You never really know. Jiri, I know. So the odds open with that fight. We'll talk about that fight in a second here, but I told my friend, I mean, he's got DraftKings. I'm like, you should hammer that. He already put it, he put some money on the line. I think he got like plus 125. I was talking to my friend the other day, and it was good line. I think it flips. It's already kind of flipping. Give us your main card prediction at 300. Is Jiri there? I don't know. I'm not sure. That card's going to be stacked. It might open the main card or something. Like, Jiri's a former champ. Like, again, I think he's being really disrespectful to this betting line against Rakic. I don't really understand the betting line here. Like, I saw DraftKings opened it. Like, they usually don't open make the openers. It's usually bet online. So you had kind of a soft opener, I think, from DraftKings, and people are taking advantage of it. Now the line's flipping. So he should have definitely opened as the favorite. I would have pegged him as like a minus 140 favorite, something like that. He opened as like a plus 140 dog. So I think the line was like literally flipped. Yeah, I saw Wilder lost. I didn't watch that fight. He's also older too, right? That's the problem too. And yeah, this line's a pick 'em now. So if you got like the plus 140 or something at the opener, that's crazy. Rakic leg kick. Yeah, that's true. Plus his wrestling is pretty good too, right? But again, Yuri's a former champ. Yuri's a beast. Yuri submitted Glover. Yes, he got knocked out by Pereira, and I picked Pereira to win that fight, coming off a 1.5 year layoff. But now Yuri's not coming off a 1.5 year layoff. He's coming off a 3 month layoff. So I think he'll be, or a 4 month layoff, I guess. I think he'll be in a better condition to fight Rakic. And Rakic is coming off a 2 year layoff. So look at that, right? All right, let's get back to the fights. Now let's get into UFC 300 because, yeah, I mean, man, this is going to be a hell of a card. This is going to be a hell of a fucking card. I do feel it's kind of strange. Cody Brundage is on UFC 300 because I don't really like look at him as like this star guy, and I kind of feel like this whole card is going to be star versus star kind of fights. But again, he is coming off a crazy knockout win, that body slam over Zach Reese, that power bomb, and then obviously Bo Nickal is probably the best prospect at 185, one of the best prospects in the UFC any weight class. So yeah, I mean Nichols, what is he? There's odds for this. Let me check. I think he was like minus 1,300 last time I checked. Let me double check right now. Yeah, he's minus 1,350. So yeah, I mean Nichols going to win this fight, obviously. It's just kind of like intriguing a little bit just because Cody is, on paper this wrestler, but other than that last fight with that crazy knockout, I don't really look at Cody as like this, amazing fighter. So yeah, I think most likely Nickal just dominates this fight, finishes him. That's probably the line you look at. Nickal by stoppage. I'm gonna get some more comments here, guys. Brundage round one. That'd be the only way he wins. I mean, that's kind of how he does win, is round one finishes, and I don't really see it happening. I pray Cody wins for the meme. I don't see it happening. I think he gets stopped like brutal fashion. I think Bo probably submits him. That's probably what happens in this fight. Another layup. I mean, it is. And I thought he would get a rank guy. I really did. They're obviously building slow, though. He's 5-0. There are other contenders at middleweight, so I guess the UFC's like, what's the rush right now when you have Drakus, Strickland, and all these other guys still kind of waiting in line? But yeah. What's up, Zach? Looking festive, buddy. Hope all is well. Yeah, I'm doing well, man. Thanks for asking, Zach. Hope you have a great Christmas, brother, with your family. Yeah, 4-4, but I mean, one of the wins was that DQ loss. And what's crazy, guys, is that like Jacob Malkoun was beating the shit out of him, right? If Jacob Malkoun just doesn't be an idiot and hit him in the back of the head, he wins that fight. Cody loses that fight and Cody gets cut. Instead, Cody gets the win, gets his win bonus, comes back, beats Zach Reese as a big underdog, and now he gets to fight UFC 300. It's pretty crazy how life works. Now, having said that, Cody's a nice guy, man. Like everything I've seen, all the interviews I've ever watched, all the people that I've talked to that know him, he's like a super good dude. I know he's got two young daughters. He just seems like a really solid guy. So that part of me, as a dad myself, I root for these young fathers like Cody Brundage. And I know one of his daughters like was born with some sort of illness, if I'm not mistaken, with his wife Amanda Cooper, the former UFC fighter. I know that they've kind of had to struggle with that. So that part of me, I talked about that when he fought Cedricus Dumas because it was a horrible performance. I'm just like, man, I hate shitting on this guy because he's a nice guy, but there's a bad performance. At least now, he's got some wins under his belt. So it just kind of surprised me he's on 300. I don't look at this as a guy that should be on this card, but again, the UFC is clearly building up Bo Nickal. Marcel, what's up, brother? Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, man. Like I said, Marcel, you're like the Santa Claus of Holland, so you probably have your like pretend white beard on. Let's go to the next fight here. Calvin Kattar versus Aljamain Sterling. So this line also just flipped. I'm looking at it right now. Obviously, Kattar opened as a dog, and now the line is at pick'em. So it hasn't flipped completely yet, but it is flipping. I kind of like Sterling though, guys. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about this one? I kind of like Sterling in this fight. I know he's moving up in weight, obviously. I think it's a great fight, by the way. Of all the new fighting out, this one it's one of those ones that gets me excited, man. I mean, there's no doubt about it. This is an exciting fight. You got the former champ at 135 taking on a guy who's a perennial contender at 145, who's coming off a long layoff. So I obviously for Sterling, this is an easier fight on paper than Max Holloway, obviously, but it's still not an easy fight because he's fighting the number 7 ranked featherweight. So he's moving up in weight and taking on a guy in the top 10. At the same time, though, like as good as Kattar is, especially with the boxing, we all know he's a fantastic striker. I don't know if his grappling is going to hold up to Sterling. I got to take a look at what his takedown defense is. Let me look at the number right now. I'm guessing it's probably pretty good. I would guess. This is my guess. It's probably like 70%. Let's take a look here. Calvin Kattar. Let me take a look. UFC stats. I'm going to say 70%. Let's take a look. 90%. Holy shit. Way better than I thought. So his takedown defense is 91%. Very good. At the same time, I'm looking at his record too, and it's like not a lot of wrestlers that he's fought. So the only guy that's taking Kattar down is Zabit, took him down once, and Chris Fishgold took him down once. That's not good. But again, like who has he fought that's a wrestler? I guess Renato Moicano is a grappler. And Renato didn't attempt a takedown in that fight. He just outstruck him. Let me see. Dan Ige, I mean, I wouldn't consider him a wrestler, but he does have some grappling. Ige went 0 for 9 in that fight. So that's kind of like, I guess, like the most like similar fight, but not really. I mean, Sterling's just a much better grappler. Zabit went 1 for 4 in takedowns. Ricardo Lom is 0 for 1. Hey, the numbers don't lie. It's pretty clear this guy has got really good takedown defense. And now he's going to fight a guy who's coming up in weight. But at the same time, Sterling is just fucking good, man. He's just a great wrestler, great submission artist. I still think he gets him down, guys. I still think he wrestles him. And Sterling averages almost 2 takedowns a fight. So I think he gets him down. I still can't forget that fight with Jan, right, where he took him down and just held him in that back mount for like most of the fight. So, all right. A couple comments here. Yeah, where are you, Marcel? Where's the monster at, Hans? Nickal versus Malkoun would have been way tougher fight. That would have made sense, actually. Malkoun's just a really good grappler. I like Aljo as a pick him though, guys. I do. I do think he wins this fight. That's my pick. I mean, that's my lean right now. I don't think I'll change my pick. I don't really see it changing. I'm giving you guys my early pick in this fight. It just when it's all the announcement, I'm like, Aljo probably wins. But again, I do like Kattar, and that 91% takedown defense doesn't lie. It's just you have to look at who he's fought, and he hasn't really fought wrestlers. Can't pick a winner. Have you ever seen Kattar versus top grappler? No, that's the problem, right? That's a really good takedown defense. Imagine Colby Neighbors, Justin Grudge. I'll talk about UFC 300 in a sec here. So let me just get through the next fight, and then I'll go through like what I think should be on the card. No, I'm not watching it. I'm gonna just watch football today afterwards. I gotta do something. I have to wrap all the presents and stuff for for my daughter. I got her. And I went to Toys R Us today, guys. Like I tweeted about it. Spent all this money on my daughter and these, and then I'm like, I'll buy some stuff for myself. They have like CDs now, so I bought a couple of Metallica CDs. Pretty good. Do Canadian high schools have wrestling classes? I don't really think so. I mean, when I went to high school, I played football, I played rugby. We didn't have a wrestling team. I think there was another high school nearby that did, but I don't know anyone who wrestled. It's not really a popular sport here. It should be. You know, I'm just hoping one day it'll just be like an MMA class or something that they could have like high school kids in. Because I think they're like, I remember there was this one guy that used to bully me a lot. Like I would have, you know, he was an asshole, but he was definitely a strong dude. And he played football. He was a tight end and a linebacker who's on the team. He was a beast. But he's also a guy that like shot people in lockers. Not me because I was big too, but he was still a bully towards me. You know. But that guy would have did really well in like a combat sport, I think. You know, like that one dude. They just that the one, you know, I'm sure you guys have had that experience. I mean, this is 20 years ago, right? But I always remember that guy was this big, strong guy. He's a huge prick though. But I mean, he probably would have been a pretty good wrestler or a fighter. Toys R Us is Netherlands. Yeah, we have it in Canada. And so what happened is they actually like brought in HMV. HMV is like this music shop. They used to have HMV in Canada as a standalone thing. Anyways, Toys R Us has recently brought it in. It's actually funny. I messaged our good friend Aaron Bronster, a good friend of the show here. You guys know him, MMA reporter. He's huge into like vinyl music. So I sent him a message a few weeks ago. I'm like, yo, there's a bunch of vinyls. You should go check them out. I don't know if he did, but he's huge into like vinyl collecting, crate digging, they call it. So would you guys put your children in MMA class at school? So my daughter's 2 right now. I would like for her to start doing some martial arts. As you guys know, I'm separated. So this isn't like my decision to make, unfortunately. I'm hoping to convince my ex that we could put her in some sort of martial art at some point. Right now, she's so young; she's only 2, so I don't think it's necessary. But I'd like to get her started, like even some jujitsu or some Muay Thai. I think she'd have fun. It's just, you know, she's so cute and stuff too. I don't want her to like break her nose or anything like that or stub her toe. Cute little bastard. I love her so much, man. She's so cute. Jamie, have a good Christmas yourself, my friend. Appreciate it. Let's go to the next fight here. This is the last fight for 300. Jiri Prochazka versus Aleksandar Rakic. I mean, I like Jiri, guys. I do like Jiri to fight. Rakic hasn't fought in 2 years. I like Rakic as a fighter. I just think the line's wrong here. You have the former champ, a guy who had what, like a 12-fight win streak. He loses to Pereira, and all of a sudden he's an underdog at open. That line was wrong. And again, it was a soft line because Bet Online usually opens the odds, right? And even Adam at Bet Online, and I like Adam a lot. He's a good dude. Sometimes he doesn't open the odds the best, and they get like flipped pretty quick. But the thing is, like, what they do is like they just take like low openers. I think it's like $500. So if they get a few sharps coming in at $500, he'll know to flip the line quickly, right? With DraftKings, like I don't know what their limit is at openers. I'm assuming it's higher. They probably got some pretty big bets coming in on Jiri, and they were forced to flip the line. But if they had already seen like a Bet Online or another one of these, like Bet Online's a pretty big book, but you know what I mean, like an offshore book, open it up, they would have known to have opened Jiri or this fight as a pick 'em at least, or if not, Jiri is the favorite. Because I just think fundamentally it was wrong. It's one of those misprints. Like you always want to look for that, guys. Like I talked about this recently. What was that fight? Trey Ogden versus Nicholas Mata. It was like a month ago, right? I said the line is wrong. It should be the other way around. Trey Ogden's the better fighter. He should be a favorite in this fight. And he dominated that fight. It was a no contest, which was one of the worst beats of the year. It was fucking bullshit. It was a no contest, but that was a great example of a fight that the odds were clearly wrong, and you saw it play out in the fight. Get some more comments. Jiri was Alex was a low-key early stoppage. A little bit. I mean, we know Goddard kind of tends to stop fights earlier than later, so it is what it is. Dear Chuck, of course, Merry Christmas out in the whole community. Glad to have you here, brother. You too, man. Definitely think this won't be the main card. I agree with that, but like at the same time, I mean, it's still a former champ, and then again, Sterling is too. I don't know if these will be main card fights. I really don't know. Marcel wants to come on, so I'm going to send him the link. Let's get him on. Get Marcel in here. Changed his mind, I guess, man. I guess he saw my Christmas outfit with Rudolph. See, guys, I got Mo. I don't know if you guys can see it. Got my. Oh, you can't. There it is. There I am. There I am, guys. I love Christmas, man. It's awesome. Chris, what's up, brother? Just saw your comment. Jiri struggling against an older, struggle grappling against an old Glover, only struggling against Rakic. I mean, he submitted Glover though. So did he really struggle that bad? I actually felt like in that fight, he was getting beat up on the feet more, right? There was just like multiple points in that fight where he was getting tagged, and I'm like, holy shit, he's gonna get knocked out by Glover. But then he submitted him. So I don't know if I completely agree with that. I mean, there was definitely some times where he got taken down, as we know, but he did pretty well in that fight, man. To submit Glover to share a guy who's really difficult to submit, obviously, is pretty fucking impressive, regardless of how it happened. Future, we'll have such big expectations at 300. It must be a letdown. Possibly. I mean, I really don't know. Let's see here. Let's go to the next fight. Blanchfield versus Furo. I like Blanchfield in this fight, guys. I'm still not sold on Manon. Like, she's good, but I still think, and again, I'm 35 and she's 30. She's going to be 34 next year. It's just, she's kind of coming into her own a little bit later in her career, whereas Blanchfield's like 24. And she's a fucking monster on the ground. There's Marcel. What's up, brother?
What's up, man?
You decided to join us. You changed your mind.
Nah, man. I didn't know if I could make it. And then I saw you on, but I had to go to the toilet first. But here I am.
Oh man, no wonder you're probably on there for half an hour. How long can you stay today?
I mean, how long were you? What did
I was just thinking,
do?
like, we could do the award show right after this if you want. Like, I have it set up if you want to do it for like 20 minutes afterward. You want to do that?
Yeah, we can do it for 15-20 minutes. That's okay.
Sure. Let's get through the fight announcements and then we'll do the award show. There you go, guys. You got a bonus podcast today. Just because Marcel is here, we're going to finish the fight announcements, then we're going to jump into the award show. How about that, Marcel? Sounds fucking good?
Yeah, it's okay, man, for sure.
Look at that, man. How was your shit, by the way? Was it good?
Kind of painful, but let's not talk about it.
Is the Manon fight, is that a main event or is that co-main?
So the thing is, like with this one, Dana announced it, but he didn't say if it was the main event. Then ESPN puts it out as the main event. So I do some background search but the fighters didn't even know, man. They were in talks for that fight, but I got told it wasn't even signed yet, so they have no idea if it's a main event or not. And Dana didn't mention it on the UFC website. Has it listed, but not as the main event. And also ESPN said it was the main event, but they don't have it listed as the main event. So I don't know. I still think they want to have that Sean Brady fight against Vicente Luque. I think they're looking for that as the main event. Probably the co-main.
That's the fight,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's this one probably the co-main event. Although I think this should be a main event, and if not, they should make this 5 rounds. You know what I mean? So
it should be. Like, I'm by the way, it seems like they're doing more of these like 5-round co-main events. I'm all for it. I'm all for that, by the way. I know you like it too, right?
Yeah, for sure. And definitely if it's a fight it has title implications, you know what I mean?
Is the Mexico card, is Moreno the main event or is it
Yeah, so the thing with that one is it's supposed to be Jair Ortega as the main event, but now it's Moreno Albazi. And I think the reason why, because when the seasonal presser was, they announced Moreno Albazi, but it wasn't also announced as the main event. It was announced as the 5-round fight. But the thing is that I've heard that Ortega hasn't signed yet against Rodriguez, and the UFC wanted to announce the fight. So to be safe, they have announced Moreno Albazi as the main event because both guys have signed and that fight is set, you know what I mean? And with Rodriguez Ortega, I think I heard about that fight a month ago, you know what I mean? And I mean, Rodriguez signed, I know, but I don't know if Ortega signed now, but it took some time. And I think that's why the UFC was like, fuck it, both fights can be main events, in our opinion. So let's make the fight the main event that's already signed by both sides, so we're not like get fucked, you know what I mean?
Yeah, let's get some more comments here. The Blanchfield submission, I kind of agree with that. You lean towards Manon. I like Aaron in this fight. I know you like Aaron. I don't have to ask you.
Yeah, always know.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, Marcel. There you go from Beer Chip.
Thank you, man. Merry Christmas.
You guys do a champion in the 2024 podcast. Yeah, we'll do it. I'm thinking next week, Marcel, because someone at Sign Collectible said like we should do the prediction show because we did that the last couple of years. So maybe we could do that if you want next week. Though I don't want to do that today. I haven't thought of it yet. To be fair, why UFC announces fight for time? Just puts pressure on the guys to agree to the fight. That's pretty much what it is. Anton, what's up, brother? Merry Christmas, man.
It's actually funny, right? Dana's always like complaining that people announce a fight before they are signed.
Then they do it themselves.
And he fucking announces 7 fights like 3 days ago, and 6 of them weren't even signed. So I mean,
really? They weren't even signed, those fights?
No.
That's crazy.
Because I cannot say who, but I actually talked to a fighter, and I was like, you motherfucker, right? Didn't you tell me about this fight? He's like, I haven't even signed it yet, man. I got told about it, and I was like, I never turn a fight down, And he's like, then it got announced. I was surprised that it got announced, actually. So
that's funny. Aaron Minow's a good fight, and like Jessica was Calvillo. That was probably like that one, and Aspen Laver's Norman Dumont's were the worst main events, I think, in the Apex. Norman Dumont and Aspen Laver's one of the worst fights, like for a 5-round fight ever. Terrible. I love this fight, number one contender fight. It's a good fight, don't get me wrong. 5-round co-main events, perfect way to get title prospects, championship experience. Yeah, I love them. They just make sense. Marcel, give us 1-300.
Actually,
let's be fair. He did kind of give us Jiri and Rakic last week. He couldn't say it, but you saw it. Fucking look at his face. It looked like he was holding his shit in. You knew. He was...
I knew about that fight because I'll tell Adam, but I really couldn't say it. I promise not to tell anybody.
Do you have anything else though? Do you have anything you can give us a hint?
I have nothing right now. Literally nothing. I know a few about the Mexico card, but it's not for me to post. It's not my scoop.
Sure.
Those are not big fights. Yeah. So.
Let me ask you something. Do you think it's a lock? Jim Miller's on the card. Is that fair to say?
If he doesn't get injured during the January card against Benitez, of course, yeah. Because
that's why I'm surprised they're doing that fight in a couple of weeks.
I think Jim wants to be active. You know what I mean? I think that's the main reason because, like he said, he feels the best he ever felt. You know, because of that Lyme disease he had before. Yeah. And now he's like, I feel actually good, let me fight. You know, I don't want to fucking wait. So, I understand. You know, and let's hope he doesn't get injured because that would be great if he's at 300. And you can match him up with Paul Felder, with Clay Guida.
That's what I was thinking, like one of those guys. Like I said Clay Guida, I think, last week, but I'm thinking Paul Felder makes sense because he's supposed to come back, put them against each other. They're both, aren't they? Well, Felder's from Philly, I think, but you got a Philly versus Jersey guy. It's kind of like, a good fight, I think. And Felder hasn't fought in, 3 years now? So even though he's younger, he's not that much younger, really, Paul. Do you guys think Brand's a bigger star in Mexico than Yair or Brian? I think so. I mean, he's a former champion, right? Like former multi-time champion, right? I would say so. I think that's why they're going to do him as the main event. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so, definitely.
Why don't you guys have a sports betting sponsor? Should make it happen. Well, to be fair, I mean, we are an MMAOB sponsor. We do get paid a little bit. It's not like amazing, but it's something. It would be cool to have like one of those sites like sponsors, like a FanDuel or DraftKings. I don't see it happening though. But yeah, I mean. It's a good idea. It's a good thought, Beercher. Don't get me wrong. I'll take any Beercher. If you want to sponsor us, you could throw us some money too. I'll take your money. And I'm Marcel. I'll take it too. Diego Lopez is awesome. He'll be on that card in Mexico, 100%. Right? Like, I mean, do you know what? Have you heard? He's going to be on the card, right?
He doesn't have anything right now. But
that's
I hope
crazy.
So.
How could he not? They have to put him on the
card. I messaged him the other day, like I think 4 days ago, because some idiot on Twitter who impersonated me put out Diego Lopez against Dan Ige, which wasn't true. Yeah. So I messaged him. I was like, dude, this is not me, by the way. He's like, yeah, no problem. I see it. It's like, okay, cool. So then another somebody, I can't say the name, is like, dude, I got so many messages about this fight because of your fake account. It's like, yeah, I don't know. And that dude has now changed his name back to his, I don't know what's his name again, but I showed it to Adam. But that dude actually, he blocked me and he impersonates me. Weirdo, man.
A lot of fucking weirdos out there, man, on the internet, that's for sure. All right, is Bo the first fight of the night?
Yeah, that's what a certain account said. I don't know, but I feel like they probably put him again as a pay-per-view opener, Why they did it the first time, the second time, so they likely do it the third time as well, Yeah.
Marcel, who do you see main eventing if not Conor?
I tell you,
you think it's
Aspinall? I think if Conor doesn't headline, the card might probably be bigger because Conor doesn't want to share any pay-per-view points, right? So if you have Conor, for example, in the main event, you have a chance maybe to do a women fight as the co-main event, you know what I mean? And they probably hype it up with a lot of well-known names, but for the casual fans, I think, And if a Conor isn't on the card, you can do 3 title fights with people getting pay-per-view points, like example, Pereira against Hill. Even fucking Pereira against Adesanya at 3 for the light heavyweight title is a possibility, I think, You can go so many ways. It kind of depends. It kind of depends what the main event is, pretty much. You know what I mean? If Conor is the main event, I don't think we get an amazing... We still get high-level fights on the card, but we don't get, like, big title fights. Remember, the last time Conor shared title fights on the card was 205, in New York. After that, Conor headlined, and there was never a title fight under him on a card, So, yeah, that's how I see it,
Miller versus Tony double retirement fight. I don't think Tony should fight in the UFC anymore. He hasn't been released yet, I guess, technically.
No, he hasn't, and I think the UFC doesn't want to release him out of respect, but man, it's I hate to say it because I know Tony absolutely hates it when people say he has to quit, or he has to stop, he has to retire. But man, I don't want to see Tony get beat up by people he would have walked through like 4 or 5 years ago. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Nickal Craig. Yeah, I think I can't remember who it was. Someone in the chat earlier said it should have been Malcolm. Was it Potter? I think Malkoon versus Mo Nickal. That would have been a harder fight, I think, right?
Honestly, I think you should. Why do you don't do Nickal against somebody around the top 15? Or
Yeah. Yeah.
now it's like, listen, Brundage is a guy who's like he. If you hear people talking about him in the gym, everybody says he's amazing.
Yeah, I know. I
Uh,
know.
Brundage ain't bad, but he has a problem to find the switch sometimes in the cage.
Hmm.
When he
Hmm.
finds the switch, he's super competitive and he's
Hmm.
good. But if he doesn't find it, like in the Dumas fight,
Hmm.
that then he looks not good. You know what I mean? So, and that's what I think the UFC is like. He's on a 2-fight win streak now with the DQ and that slam. Let's put him against Nickal. But I feel like Nickal should fight actually guys who he won't be a minus 800 favorite against. You know what I
Well,
mean?
he's minus 1350 right now. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
we all know he's going to win. That's the thing.
yeah,
That's why I don't like the fight. Cody's got a chance in the first round, but that's
yeah,
about it.
definitely.
Grasso, Shevchenko 3, UFC 300. I thought they would do that next that Sphere card. I think they're gonna. Is Shevchenko ready to go? Like, is she?
I think they're even talking about Grasso against Zhang for flyweight, but I would be like, yeah, I'm not really feeling that one, to be really honest. You know what I mean? So I wanted to see Grasso against Blanchfield, and if not Grasso against Manov Euro, but they're gonna do Shevchenko, which I can understand, but still it's like, and when, I hope soon. And by the way, shout out to Alexa Grasso, man. She won 3 World MMA Fighting Awards, man. That's amazing. And deserved.
We'll talk about her in a few minutes because we'll
Yeah.
do the award show.
Yeah.
Bonus podcast right after this. Connor and Patty, no, no. I think Connor even wins that fight, even though Patty. I just don't think Patty's that good, even though he's been active. Nickal destroys Brundage. I thought he would get a top 15. I think Marcel agrees. Remember when the UFC announced Magny Dos Santos and the Santos didn't sign? They punched with Lee months later. Don't remember, but I mean, it sounds accurate. Nickal will be minus 1,000 against the champ. You think he'd be minus 1,000 against who's the champion at 185? Strickland. You know what? He would be favored against Strickland. I will say that he would be. Despite Strickland being the champ and being so experienced, I do think Nickal would be favored, and he'd probably be favored against Strickland too. He'd be favored against everyone. He would. Minus 1,000 is kind of heavy, but he would be favored. I don't think you're wrong by that at all. Bo's not ready for competition. His last 2 opponents were short notice. Nobody Jay Pickett. That's the other thing though. Like you can't just throw him in a title fight. He only has 5 fights. He has to beat some people. Like look how long some of these guys have to wait to fight for a belt. Like Dricus has won 6 straight fights and now he's getting the title shot. Right? You can't just throw him in there. Even though I agree he would be favored.
You know what it is, Adam? I mean, we're in the UFC, right? We're not an LFA. So I'm not really into building up prospects in the UFC. If you want to build up your prospect, fucking let him fight an LFA. But the UFC is kind of like not consequent with it. Certain people get thrown into the lion's den. From the first fight till the 5th fight, and some people get like kind of layups. You know what I mean? Because they see something in them. It's what they did with Sean O'Malley as well. Not a big fan of it. You know what I mean? I feel like if you have to climb to the top, you have to go through the top. Through the top, I should say, not to the. You have to go through the top to be at the top, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, the UFC thinks differently about it, and that's why they are the promoters and I'm not. So,
yeah, no doubt about that. All right, let me see here. Other comments. He'd be favored against Chimaev, probably too. I mean, he'd probably be favored against everyone. I don't think you're wrong. Would you favor Grasso against Manel
I would favor Grasso against Manon, and I would favor Aaron against Grasso.
I agree. World Team Strickland DDP. Yeah, it's a really good fight. I don't know who I'm going to pick yet. That's a kind of a tough one. I've said I'm leaning Dracus. I think, but I don't know. I mean, Strickland's in best form of his career, so it's tough. I think Tony would have beaten Rick Glenn. Possibly. That's kind of the kind of fight you could win, right? It's possible. Michael, what's up, man? Michael Bay, the director of Armageddon. Main card, McGregor, Chandler, Poirier, Diaz, Cruz, Cody, Masvidal, Nick. That's not going to happen. Greenfelder, it makes sense. Go ahead.
Maybe they do like the BMF title with Gaethje against Holloway.
Right, I talked about that earlier today. I think it makes sense, right? Doesn't it make sense?
Yeah, definitely with Volkanovski fighting Topuria. Holloway has nothing there. It looks like Islam is not going to fight soon, so Volkanovski makes sense, and yeah, that's what I think,
I agree. A couple other comments here. Strickland's worst champion history skills wise. I don't agree with this at all. I mean, I just say that right now. Like his boxing's really good. We know he's got good boxing. and his cardio is amazing too. I don't know if that's a skill necessarily, but the boxing's good. The boxing is
I,
very good.
I think cardio is a skill as well. I think
Sure.
cardio is trainable. You know what I mean? And if you hear that
Sure.
Strickland only spars and goes hard, I think it's a skill. If you see how many guys lacking cardio, I mean, look at myself, dude. I'm already I'm already fucked when I have to. I went to downtown to get my mom a present for Christmas, and I had to cycle. I hadn't cycled in a long time because normally I cycle every day as a mailman,
Yep.
And now I had to cycle to a mountain, pretty much.
You're
Dude,
gassed, eh?
Dude, after 2 days, I still had pain in my legs, from that one, and I wouldn't have that normally. So, yeah, Marcel versus the stairs. That sucks as well if you have many stairs. But yeah.
All right. We're gonna do another show in just a few minutes. We'll just go through our awards quickly. I was thinking next week, might as well do it today, and we'll do the predictions next week or something like that.
Yeah.
Wrestling match are 6 minutes long. What happens to both so longer? I don't know. I'm sure he'll be fine though. I mean, he's a fucking amazing athlete, guys. His cardio will be fine. I'm not worried about his cardio. If you can't see Strickland's elite defense, I mean, I think his defense is his jab, his boxing in general, and his cardio. It's actually pretty amazing, like how far he's gotten with basically good fundamental boxing and good cardio. So you're hardworking, Marcel. Never let out until you're not seeing you out. Well, I appreciate that. I will say this though, Antoine. Like hard work gets you far in life, but it doesn't get you everything you want to. You need a little bit of luck. That's something I've found in life. You need a little bit of luck. I agree with this comment too. Drink only water. I agree completely with this because this is something I'm going to try to do for 2024. I don't drink that much pop or anything like that, or even sugary drinks, but I do drink a little bit, and it's just extra calories, right? I prefer an iced tea or an apple juice, but it's extra calories. So I'm trying to lose a little bit of weight for next year. And really, it's for me, but it's also just because I have a daughter and I want to the longer I live my life, the longer she'll have a dad. So that's kind of my motivation right now. Anyways, a couple other comments here. Gamrot RDA. I mean, we both talked about this last week. I think we both think Gamrot just dominates this fight. I don't even understand this fight at all. Just stupid fight. Gaethje and his team duck wrestlers. We all know that they don't want to fight Armand or any of those guys. Let's go through a few other fight announcements. There's a couple more. Whitaker Costa. I like Whitaker in this fight. Do you like him too?
Yeah, of course, man. Listen, man. Everybody thinks Costa is funny for some reason, man. I got really bored. He's an okay fighter, but he's just annoying to me, on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, by the way, he's right this time. When people ask him, did you actually sign this time? He's like, no, I haven't signed. No, the fight isn't signed. So he is right this time. But it's just like, dude, listen, in the beginning, I thought it was kind of funny, but certain moment it's like, yeah, okay, it's a little bit like, and maybe I'm getting old, maybe I'm getting old that I don't like those kind of goofy shit. You know what I mean? I'm I'm getting old. That's it.
Yeah, and some people in chat don't think the fight would happen. I mean, I don't trust Costa to make it to a fight either. I honestly, if he pulls out another fight, they should just cut his ass. I'm just tired of this guy, Marcel. I don't understand what the popularity is from him. What's so good about this guy?
Yeah, also, if you look, his best win is like fucking Joel Romero and maybe Luke Rockhold and Johnny Hendricks, but they're both on the decline. Johnny Hendricks on the decline. Joel Romero was one foot out of the company.
45 years old.
Yeah, and Luke Rockhold on the decline.
And that fight was really bad too. That was I don't know how it won fight of the night.
They got fucking fight of the night, man.
How?
I mean, how? Yeah, exactly how. So
I don't know how.
And he on purpose missed weight against Vettori.
Yes, I remember. They came in 20 pounds heavy at fight week. That was a joke too.
So yeah. I don't understand why this guy's so popular.
I don't get it either.
In the beginning, I understand it because I thought he was really. I thought he was fun to watch. But the guy's boring me the fuck out. I think Whitaker wins here.
Yair and Brian Ortega the rematch. I picked Yair the first fight. He won kind of by a fluke fashion. I'm going to pick him again though, especially in Mexico. You like him too?
It's a rematch nobody asked for. It was actually funny that the UFC posted the rematch everybody asked for. It's like, I don't know these people. You know what I mean? The thing is, Ortega has been away for such a long time, that we don't know. And listen, if you ask me, I think Ortega is a much more of a threat than Jair is to Ortega, for some reason, But at the same time, Jair has been busy. Ortega hasn't been busy. So that's a difficult thing here. And the first fight, kind of like a fluke to me. Many people said it wasn't a fluke, but I don't know. I have to think about this one.
A couple more here. Semmelsberger, Parsons. This is short notice. I think James Lynch broke the fight. Yeah. Semmelsberger wins this fight, I think. I would favor him. Although, I mean, he's inconsistent too, right?
I said to James Lynch in the Discord, so you're a fight announcement breaker now.
He's going to take your job, man. He's going to take your job.
Yeah, great breaking from James, man.
And then this guy, Robert Pritchett. Who? He's KSW or who is he?
I think he signed earlier this year with the UFC. He was supposed to fight Jacob Malkoun, right, on short notice, but that fight didn't went through, and Jacob Malkoun fought somebody else instead. He fought Cody Brundage instead, right?
He's from Octagon, actually. He's 33 years old. He's 33, yeah. So Octagon's won 5 straight fights. I don't really know. I don't really know much about him at all.
I was just happy to find a good picture of his that matched the other.
Yeah, he fought that Leandro Silva guy, that guy that used to fight UFC and lost to him. Yeah. He lost to Sadar Busi too. I just don't know who this guy is, and I'm not sure why he's in the UFC, but they must see something. I don't know. You never know though. Sometimes it's just because the manager gets him in. Anyways, Duraev should be favored here because he actually has experience, but Duraev has just not been great either, right? So, and then this one, I mean, this Guskov guy I think is terrible personally. Pauga should win this fight, right?
Yeah, maybe. The thing is, like, Guskov lost to Ozdemir, and Ozdemir is still like a level above Pauga, I think, And Pauga kind of disappointed me so far, dude, in the UFC. I mean, he got that win over Jordan Wright, I think, but he got knocked out against Mohammed Usman, and he lost to Bukauskas in a close fight. Difficult, man. I would say Pauga likely wins the fight, but I mean, Guskov can maybe do damage. You never know. The thing is, like, the fights he had before this one in the UFC are against people I don't really familiar with. You know what I mean? So it's hard to measure.
All right, and then is that it? Oh, this guy Balaji Oki versus Demir Hadzovic. I thought Demir was cut. I didn't even know he was on the roster anymore. To be honest with you, I think Oki wins.
The funny thing is, like, this fight was on the UFC board for February 3rd with the Nauk boys. So I've reached out to both guys. It's like, do you have this fight lined up? And they're both like, no, we haven't heard about this one. It's like, oh, okay. It's like, how did you heard about it? So I told them, it's like, it was on the UFC board. That's why I tried to check. I know we haven't heard about it. And then like 2 weeks later, it's announced. They're like, yeah, we heard about it later, but we didn't know it when you asked us. That's like, okay. So the UFC was thinking about making that fight, but they didn't put out the, how do you say that? The request to the fighters. You know what I mean? So, and now it's done. So that's actually on the main card, man, this one. So, yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I mean, this Oki guy, he's a Belgian guy, right? I think he's good.
He's from Belgium. He's also training sometimes with Rico Verhoeven. He's trained and with Tom Aspinall, and now he's training with Jarno Aarons.
Well, you can see it from the striking. I mean, with Rico. I mean, there's no doubt this guy's striking is like that combination he landed. I can't remember who he fought, but on the Contender, combination man to the body shots, that was amazing. Remember?
Dylan Salvador, actually, kickboxer, he fought.
Yeah, that's right. And then Val Weber, Oban Elliott. Yeah, Val Weber, he's dropping down the weight again. I have no idea. I mean, I don't think Elliott's that good. He was getting his ass kicked in that fight and somehow won on Contender, but this one I don't even have a lean in at all. I don't care about this fight very much. Rinya Nakamura, Brady Heastand. I mean, Rinya should win, right?
Yeah, but we cannot underestimate Brady, No,
I don't. So, I mean, I had him against, what was the guy's name? Yeah, and then I had him in that survivor pool in James's Discord. Yeah. Comes back with about 30 seconds left, and we talk about that later. So that's done. Okay, great. All right, cool. All right, let's end the podcast here, Marcel. I think it's a good spot to end it. So we'll end this one, then we'll come back in a few minutes, guys. We'll do a year-end rewards recap. That will be short too, 15 minutes. It's Sunday. It's the day before Christmas. So appreciate you jumping in, Marcel. Short notice. Appreciate you guys joining us short notice. I'm going to start a new podcast just a minute here, guys. We'll do the year-end rewards recap. We'll talk to you guys in a minute.